It's crowded and it's difficult to maneuver. There's what looks like hen parties and stuff. People taking selfies. This isn't what you want. People are just getting a taxi out of this, I don't know, it must be a restaurant. And this is the taxi that they're getting collected in. That's so funny. Do you think that's an Uber? Very understand. I mean, if this was on your doorstep every fucking day of the week, you'd be fairly pissed off and wouldn't want to live. Look at that for a queue for the Basilica. Look at the queue for the Basilica. No, that's insane. Right, so this morning we're heading to the train station and we're visiting the city without any roads. So it's inspired countless stories, poems, and it was once one of the greatest maritime powers in the world. The Republic of, you're about to find out soon. We're heading to the train station. What I want to find out is the city we're visiting just a tourist trap, or is there still the lore? Does the lore still stand true from this famed city hundreds of years later? So we're going to grab a train now and we're going to find out whether the city is just the madness of crowds or is it still legendary. Well, if you haven't already guessed based on the sign inside the train station, we are in the city with no roads, Venice. Very cool sight to behold coming out of the train station and opening up onto this. I don't know what building it is it administrative or some church? But look at this, all the boats driving along. Very cool. The famous canals of Venice. This is probably a big one. I presume we go that way. So this is the view. The train station is just over there. And there's just unbelievable views of the river taxis here, lying either side with the Venetian style housing and the balconies. There's the savage buildings already here with the unbelievable statues on them. Really cool. And even the Venetian flag with the big lion on it. Not on this building. When they're down there in that building, their Venetian flag is there. That's cool. So beautiful. Freaky masks.
That would have been brutal with luggage.
Plenty of crowds doing the same thing as we are, just crowding up the streets. It's like inspired so many books and plays. Shakespeare's famous play, the narrow streets down here. They make for good reading and of course good kind of hiding around the narrow streets and shiftiness. They make for a great environment. Look at this, this is probably as wide as it's gotten for a while now. And then you turn the corner around here and it's really narrow and the buildings are up on top of you. Very cool. sooth. I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me. You say, it wearies you. The line I quoted down there, as I so brilliantly did, was the opening line of The Merchant of Venice, which of course was written by Shakespeare about this very city, Venice. This is a nice square, isn't it? Like the fucking houses. The music, very Venetian, I would say. So after the fall of the Roman Empire, Venice became a thing. A lot of people were scrambling for refuge, and they ended up heading out into the salt marshes of modern day Venice and building houses there. And it was initially really unforgiving that the salt water deteriorated all the structures they were building. But over hundreds of years, the city grew up and it actually became one of the strongest maritime powers in all of the Mediterranean. And we have I suppose a dynasty or some sort of an empire that lasted almost 1,000 years until Napoleon's rule. So from about 400 or 500 AD up until about 15 or I suppose actually 1700s, Venice was a maritime power. The market, what is it, Mercato del Pesce al Minto. I'm not even going to try.
It's a wine festival.
A wine festival.
I actually think you can get to
Look at the seagull. The seagull of Venice. Probably there just to eat anyone's food. Mr. Seagull. Look at the old shop fronts here. They're probably here for hundreds of years, like hundreds if not probably close on more than 1,000 years, some of them. And they would have been all Phoenician merchants and Jews, Christians, Muslims, all along the Silk Road up to Venice, probably trading goods, spices, silk, salt, weapons, shipbuilding, all traded here from shop fronts along the riverfront, or not the riverfront but the canal front, I suppose, covered in by the narrow streets that actually they look like they're closing in at the top. Look at this, I love the actual just scene, the greeny water, the ships going down there, the river taxis with the gondolas behind them and the traditional stripy shirts that the gondola people are wearing, gondola drivers. It's really cool. And I don't know, you just get the feeling when you're down here that you can just imagine hundreds of years ago, before it became, I suppose, a monument or a time capsule from what was before, that all the traders here in their cloaks and some rampant with rats and things like that, and just murky and shady deals going down. But yeah, this is what it's like modern day Venice. Really cool. Now we're walking atop of the Rialto Bridge here in Venice, one of the most famed places in all of Venice. Can't see much from this angle, but it's cool to step on top of it. So look at this, this is the Venice that the tourists talk about. It's crowded and it's difficult to manoeuvre. There's what looks like hen parties and stuff, people taking selfies. This isn't what you want. Look at the crowds down there as well. Jesus Christ. A bit quieter on this side, isn't it? at this, the Piazza del San Marco. So you might have seen from the shots coming in the Piazza de San Marco that there was just crowds and crowds of people coming in, and that's what it was like when we got off the train first and we got kind of through the back streets. It was really nice. It was nice and quiet. But as we went further in, it got really, really busy, and it was not that nice. You can just see the crowds of people up here by the church. It's fucking manic, to be honest. But yeah, what a scene. Like it really reminds me of when I was learning the Merchant of Venice for my junior cert, and you could kind of just think of the characters being around here and just fucking around alleyways and stuff like that. But yeah, this is some scene here. The detail in the architecture is unbelievable. The Italian architects and stonemasons and sculptors, they're just unbelievable. A different type, to be fair. Just look at the level of detail in here. Like, you have just sculptures, you have lions' heads, you have human sculptures of men, and you have like just the detail is unbelievable. And just here in the church as well, you can see the actual mosaics are unbelievable. I don't know, I don't think there's anywhere in the world you find that level of architecture and attention to detail on sculptures than probably old Italian cities of the north. Real Renaissance style architecture and paintings. Essential Venetian experience. We're going to go for a ride on a gondola. I don't know which one we're going on. This one? Look at this. So the taxi is here. This one? Or this one? People are just getting a taxi out of this, I don't know, it must be a restaurant. And this is the taxi that they're getting connected in. That's so funny. Do you think that's an Uber? Look at that, it's like a limousine. All their stuff is getting taken out. I wonder if this is a hotel. Looks like it's a hotel, maybe it's a... No, it's a taxi. It says a taxi on the side of it. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. You sit this way.
Grazie.
And you sit over there.
Oh. You want to put on your thing?
What?
Your cover.
No, I'm going to.
Here we are in Venice on a gondola. When the moon hits the... Look, it's away to me. You're okay.
It's you.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be driving sideways.
Why would you move in this? There.
That's a bit better, is it? Oh, that man. He might have been standing on the thing as well. It's incredible. These are the roads of Venice. Waterway. How long have you been a gondola driver?
A long time.
A long time.
I'm 69.
Always, all your life, gondola driver?
No, I did other things before, but
Okay.
about 35 years.
Yeah, I think it's... You're busy. The sounds of Venice, the gondola driver is conversing, even though he's gone around the corner. Oncoming gondola.
Fermite, Ricky.
Look at this, the size of the buildings. It's all sea.
Vieni.
Yeah, it's very cool. Look at that. In this angle. Yeah. Traffic jam on the waters of fucking Venice. They have to? Yeah. Hello. Very nice.
Ora come la massa presto qua.
Out in the open waters of Venice. Very cool. It's funny, isn't it, to see? It's so old fashioned, like look at the guys in the stripy t-shirts.
I love it.
And the hat and that fella as well, it's cool.
Impossibile, levarmi. Roba impossibile.
Some size, isn't it? And you can hear the hum and the chatter of the people in the piazza. And you can almost hear the whispers of Shylock asking for his pound of flesh, ripping someone off in the Marsh of Venice. What a spot. I'm getting given up from the one who doesn't want to be in the videos. But she tries to get on camera any chance she can by just butting her nose in. It's fairly obvious now why Venice only has an indigenous population of 50,000. I mean, if this was on your doorstep every fucking day of the week, you'd be fairly pissed off and wouldn't want to live there. Besides, the gondola driver also said that house prices here are like the same price as central London. So it's obviously not really applicable for the working man or woman to be able to afford a house here. Look at that for a queue for the Basilica. Look at the queue for the Basilica. No, that's insane. I don't think so. So as the vlog begins to wind down, we're in Canareggio, which is supposedly the residential area of Venice. Now we spoke to the gondola driver and he said that the prices of residential houses and apartments in Venice are like the same as central London, which is crazy, but I don't know if I could stick living here for my life because it's just too busy with tourists and the streets are so small and narrow. Yeah, it wouldn't be ideal. But look at this, the Venetian kind of blinds, and this would have been the Venetian way of life, and all throughout the city you have houses like this. And yeah, it's obviously black with people when you're near the piazza and you're near the Rialto bridge, but it's really a sight to behold, and it does have the legends attached to it. But this is real Venetian living here. So Fiona has just told me that you're looking at about 300k for one bed apartment, loft or studio, which is cheap, very, very cheap. And then you have this nice sunny street with bars and cafes either side, but a rather unlivable city. We're back into the dark alleys and we're heading to the Ghetto Etico, which is the Jewish quarter, and a small bit of respite from the sun. Look at the houses. They're a bit more, they're not as kind of nice, are they, as the other ones. I'd say this is where the actual people live. But I'd imagine they lived in them for a long time. Although they don't really look lived in down there on the ground floor, do they? Yeah, there's a wedding on that. That's interesting. I do think the Venetian blinds are quite cool. Although they're not Venetian, are they? Venetian are the...
The ones there on the inside.
Yes, yeah, they're Venetian. I do like that style, that open out like that though. Yeah, the shutters. They'd probably just rot in Ireland though. So this, I think, is getting close to the Jewish quarter. Actually, that's the first kind of set of high-rise apartments we've seen, is it? Thinking now, I don't think I've seen any high-rise apartments. So this is the Jewish quarter, and not a whole lot to see. Look at the colour of the building. Like it's all mossy kind of. The buildings here, they're all kind of like, they look like they're degraded, but it kind of adds to the character of them. And there's bars and restaurants here again. Oh, this must be. I'm just going to go over here to second see. There's something over here with Israel on the wall. Casa Israel. Israel. Casa Israelitica di Riposo. It's interesting. Okay, I don't understand that.
There's a will.
What is this shop? Glass. Mrs.
Look at the barbed wire fencing over the top. I wonder what that's for. Keep people in or keep people out. You have a kosher restaurant, which is obviously how Jewish people like to eat their food, kosher. So the Jewish people in, I suppose, Venetian times, they were actually quite strict. Like they weren't, they were quite valued people in the society, but they were also lived under curfew, so they would have to be in earlier than most people at night. But what's also funny is there were a lot of them were bankers, merchants, and big wealthy traders. So it was kind of an interesting dynamic because the dominant religion was Christian in Venice, but the Jews obviously had a big part to play in the city, and that's kind of reflected in The Merchant of Venice as well. You see Shylock, who is the trader, the Jew, who famously asks for the pound of flesh. But this would have been the quarter where all the Jewish people would have resided back in Venetian times, and this place would have been closed up by 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, while the rest of the city continued to have hustle and bustle about it. Well folks, that is it from Venice. We're at the St. Lucia train station here in Venice, and does it live up to the hype? Does it live up to the lore? It certainly has the lore, and it's probably more of a time capsule now of a city that once was. Definitely lives up to the lore, I think, but unfortunately I don't know how residents do it. I know there's only 50,000 of them, but it's not somewhere I'd like to live. But it was extremely cool to see, and I would come back definitely. And yeah, overall very pleasant experience. And I'm David Without Borders. That is the Venice vlog, over and out. And if you like that video, subscribe, because there'll be plenty more videos coming from Italia. That is it.